Hi, welcome to this tutorial. In this lesson, I'd like to teach you how to do a walk around to a pirouette to a chair spin for a complete combo. So if this is something that you're interested in, stick around, grab some water, make sure you're nice and warmed up and that your pole is clean, and we can go ahead and get right into the lesson. So if you've watched my first video tutorial where I taught the walk around into the fireman spin for a beginner spin, then you'll already understand how to walk around the pole. If you've already learned the walk around somewhere else, that's great too. That'll be our first step into learning how to pirouette. The difference in the walk around this time will be that we're going to be starting from our outside foot first. So the first step will be outside, inside, outside. So if you have never practiced a pole walk around, I would suggest that you start to get comfortable with walking around the pole. Whichever hand is your dominant hand, you'll be on that side with that hand up high. Left hand would be here, right hand would be here, and you'll just get used to walking around the pole. And of course, as you may already know, whichever arm or leg that's closer to the pole is your inside leg and arm, and the one that's further away is the outside leg and arm. So, as I said, to begin our pirouette, we're going to be leading with our outside step forward. So this will be outside, inside, outside. Now I would like to break down the pirouette spin. This spin can be a little bit tricky, but with practice, you can get really good and fluid with it. The tricky part is that your hands are changing throughout the move. So I'll show you what a pirouette looks like, and pay attention to how my hands move throughout as I turn. So if you noticed, as I do my third outside step or my third step, I'm reaching across, turning my outside arm the other way. I'm putting all of my weight on that foot now, and as I get through halfway through my turn, this top hand also has to rotate to get me back to a comfortable ending position out of my pirouette. Let me show you what happens if you do not change that top hand position and what it would look like. There's nothing wrong with not changing it. I personally just think that it flows a lot better if you do change that top hand position. So here's what it would look like if you didn't. So I ended up in this very twisty, unnatural position with my hand like this because I kept my hand the way that it started. Now, if you like that, by all means do it, please. But I just think that it personally looks a lot better if you rotate your hands to end up in this position that's more natural. Because if I don't rotate my hand, I will not be able to go directly into my chair spin, which is the spin that we'll learn after the pirouette. So if I don't change it, I cannot go into my chair. This is what my chair would look like. Okay, so we're going to start from the top. And we're not going to do the walk around while I break down this pirouette with you again and you do it with me. So if I'm here and I ended up on the outside foot, the last step before the pirouette, this outside arm is going to reach across and I'm going to change my hand. Okay, so see how you can see the front of my hand even though I have my back to you. That's how it should be. Okay, so I'll show it from the front if you'd like to mirror me. I'm here, last step, going into my pirouette. I'm not reaching across this way, twisting my hand. Okay, so that's the first step. Reaching across, switching your hand. We're putting all of our weight on our outside foot, which is the one that we stepped forward with right before we were starting our pirouette. And we're going to push ourselves around. And once we get halfway, we switch this hand. And then we continue and follow out throughout the rest of the movement. So I can show it from the front if you'd like to mirror me, or if you're left-handed, we can start this way as well. So I'm doing my walk around, outside, inside, outside, rotating my hand, doing a half of a turn. I have all of my weight on that outside foot, which is now sort of my inside foot. Switching my hand position and coming to the front. Now you see, I was a little bit too far away from the pole. So I somewhat ended up here. And I should have demonstrated that better for you. You don't want to be too far away, because then you're going to be arching your back and you might miss the pole. Okay, so if we put it all together, outside, inside, outside, go as slow as you need to. Outside arm comes across, rotate your hand. Now that I get halfway, I'm going to rotate that top hand and change it and come back around to the front. If you're left-handed, outside, inside, outside, rotating that hand, doing a half of a turn, rotating the hand again. Now it may be a little bit tricky first learning it, like I said in the beginning of the video. If you are going slowly, then of course you're having to balance a lot on one foot. But if you just keep practicing, you can get that. Now, a few things to consider if you have a mirror at home or if you're recording yourself. You can either keep that foot flat in your pirouette. So this is what I mean. Turning, you can either sort of keep it flat and let it drag across the floor, or you can raise it up like this. So play around with that and see what you like better, and then you can practice those. Now again, I do have socks on, which I forgot to mention in the beginning of the video. Doing this repetitively on either carpet or tile might kind of wear out the bottom of your foot. So if you are going to keep practicing this, definitely put on some socks so that you can spin a little better and have a smoother movement. Just be careful that you don't slip. So now that you kind of have the hang of the pirouette, we're going to learn how to put the walk around the pirouette together with our chair spin. So our chair spin looks just like we are sitting on an imaginary chair on the pole. So what's happening here is we have our inside arm high, our outside arm comes across, and we are basically doing a crunch with our knees to bring them up in a chair sit. So if you're left-handed, inside arm high, outside arm comes across, we're gonna go into a chair. So practice that. If you can't lift your knees up as high as 90 degrees, that's okay too. Point your toes. You don't want to look like this, or maybe you do. It's up to you. I think toes pointed looks better. So practice that a little bit, and if you're ready to put the entire combo together, we can do that. Let me go over at the end of the pirouette. So for here, as soon as we come around, we can put down that foot that's either dragging or bent. We can put it down, reposition ourselves, and we're going to bring that outside arm across into the chair. Okay, so for a complete combo, outside, inside, outside, pirouette, repositioning, putting that inside leg down, arm comes across into the chair, and we can either come down in something like this to end it, or you can go straight down to the floor onto your knees. So from the left, outside, inside, outside, pirouette, straight into the chair. You can come down to the floor, nice and slow. And that is the end of the lesson. I hope this is helpful. I hope that you're able to learn something new today. If you like this video tutorial, please give me a like and consider subscribing to my channel if you'd like to see more. See you in the next video.